Healing isn't just talk therapy, it's food, movement, and mindset. In this episode, Rosemary shares how she's redefining wellness in our communities. Join us this Friday for a heartfelt conversation. Hey, friend!
Rosemary, thanks for having me in your office today. How are you?
Good. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so proud of you. I know it's like a new office that you opened. You were in corporate and now you're venturing out on your own.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
Thank you. I mean, this office came about as a partnership with another organization, Hafali. The president, she learned about my vision and really believed in it and said, well, I haven't been here for some time. The space is open. Why don't you come in, pop a squat?
Love it.
I came in, and as I started to get more acclimated to the space, more ideas start to grow, and I built a team.
What is Rosemary?
Well, I'm Rosemary, a licensed marriage and family therapist, but also a wellness entrepreneur. So I have Mother's Purist Inc. That is the birth of where this all came from. Mother's Purist is a wellness business, and what we do, mental health, physical fitness, and nutrition wellness. So as I was in grad school trying to get my mental health piece under my belt, I was actually working on my nutrition piece, trying to build a sustainable growing space where I can partner with SNAP and have people come and use their benefits to be able to get quality food locally, as opposed to going to the grocery store and have their food travel miles and miles away. I mean, miles and miles before it reached to their table. And by the time it reaches to their table, the amount of nutrients that is lost.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Is a lot. Yeah. So when I thought about all the pieces that I've been putting together, I just always thought of your well-being as the whole person. And it can't just be mental health. It can't just be physical fitness. It can't just be nutrition. It has to be all three. And that creates the balanced person. So out of that, I was working on the mental health piece. I wasn't licensed at that time, so I was still going to school. And then I was working on the nutrition piece, secondly, and I got the space going and up and operating. And COVID happened. So let me tell you about the space that I had. It was a sustainable grow practice called aquaponics, where you use fish to grow food.
Oh.
And I built a prototype. It took me almost a year. I started it as a nonprofit type of initiative. I had a team of 5 people in different respective industries. And we came together thinking that we could build something that was holistic for the give community access, but then also removing barriers where community members can't afford the products and services. So allowing for your SNAP benefits to purchase the food, allowing for your insurance to cover your mental health, and then allowing like your FSA or HSA to cover your physical fitness. That's been the dream. So when we built the prototype, had everything in operation, I even got as far as creating a small, food microgreens subscription to another business, another fitness entrepreneur. She does physical fitness and nutrition. She did meal planning and everything. So we had an agreement where I would grow the microgreens. She would use the microgreens in her food. So that was amazing. But then COVID happened, shut down my whole operation because the building in which I was operating was not essential. And so my fish, they died. The fish died. The water got too toxic for the fish to live. And so once the pH goes up, the nitrites go up, your fish start to die, and your plants die along with it.
So you had the dream, but it had to be on pause. It had to be deferred.
Yes, it was. But then, as we came out of COVID and I built my private practice, because now I finished grad school. Yeah, I finished grad school, got my license, and now saw the opportunity where mental health was on the rise, especially in the Black community. People were reaching out for mental health services more than I have ever expected. It's like I got licensed and then my phone was just ringing nonstop.
I think COVID kind of opened the door for I would say the Black community
Yeah.
or minorities to understand that it's okay
Mhm.
to seek help. I think the issues were always there,
Mhm.
but
I think
prior
it
to
was.
COVID, we
Mhm.
couldn't openly and freely express it.
Yes, but I think what was so traumatizing, but then also a blessing in disguise was when the elderly were dying in dozens by the dozens, and we had these large refrigerated trucks that were just sitting out on the street, and you see people getting carried out, you hearing the numbers within the nursing homes, and it was just such a reality, like, oh my gosh, here today, gone tomorrow. And so many people were touched in terms of loss.
Yeah.
And once you hear that, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to need reinforcement because I can't do this on my own. And so once I understood the system of how I can split myself, I started to vet more clinicians that had the same idea of treating the whole person. And slowly but surely, I've started to acquire more clinicians, and I train. I'm also I am an approved supervisor, which is national within the marriage and family therapy field. Yeah.
Explain that to me, because I just thought like if you were in the healthcare industry, mental health, you could be a supervisor. Like you have to have a special qualification for that?
Well, for marriage and family therapy, our license is terminal. So once we get licensed, we're good to practice. I mean, there's other caveats that has transpired over the past couple of years with diagnostic privilege and all of that stuff. That's another.
another
Oh, yes, it is. But in terms of getting into marriage and family therapy, and you want to continuously grow on your skills, and so what I learned, there is an approved supervisor track. So that's an apprenticeship of about 18 months. You follow, well, you be mentored by a senior marriage and family therapist who also carries that designation, and they follow you, and they train you, they tell you about how to supervise other clinicians and the different stories that you may hear, and crisis management, ethical concerns, and legal concerns when you need to reach out for help. And being a independent therapist, it can be very lonely, and so you need that mentorship. And I didn't realize how much it was important to have that piece until I went through that apprenticeship. So going through that period and being able to fulfill that, I got the designation, and now I'm able to nationally supervise clinicians. And I think that's great because I can now
you can now do for others what was done for you, and
yes.
make sure they have the right training to
yes.
help the community.
Yes, and my reach is greater.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I didn't even know that was that existed. So thank you for teaching me something new today.
Yes.
So we know that this is how we started. So you had the dream, COVID happened, and then after COVID, it's like you were introduced to a new version of your dream.
Yes, and I feel like I've been evolving ever since I've started this journey. It's I always see it in different ways, and I'm not sure why I see it in different ways. I feel like maybe these are all the components that I'm dreaming up or envisioning, so to speak. And the destination may not be exactly what I want it to be, but it's going to look familiar.
I feel like from the conversation we've been having, it seems to me like and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like for you, your idea, regardless of what you do, you always wanted to feel whole. Like all the pieces are connected.
Yes.
So whether that's connecting physical health and spiritual, or whether that's connecting all the right providers together, you just want everything to be a full circle.
Yes.
Project.
So when a person comes into my establishment, they can feel like it's a one-stop shop. You're cared for, and the quality will not be compromised. Yes. And so now that I have the mental health piece, I want to now focus on the physical fitness and the nutrition wellness. And that's why under Mother's Purist, I have Comfort Circle Marriage and Family Therapy, which is the mental health piece. I'm now going to launch Conscious Heights Integrative Wellness, which will then house the physical fitness and the nutrition wellness programming. And that would allow me to now bring the whole piece together. So once I have one establishment, people can walk in and understand we have mental health, which is in person or telehealth. And then we'll have physical fitness, which will have clinicians who will be who will be trained in that approach, the whole person approach, and we'll have some chefs come in and do some demonstrations for people who may have depression, diabetes, hypertension. People need to understand how food connects to that mind body, has that mind body connection. And I feel like with people that look like me, talking to people that look like me, it's easier for them to feel like they're seen and heard and be more inclined and motivated to want to make changes to their lifestyle.
That. But I did want to ask you a question because you said marriage and family, right? So does that mean in order for me to see you or to be in your network, I have to be married or I have to be part of, like, can I just come as a single woman with no attachment, no kids, no partner, no nothing? No offense, honey. You have a man, but I'm not married yet, so I'm still single. So can I come to you as a single woman?
Yes, of course. Okay. So even though it's marriage and family therapy, the idea is relationships.
Got it. And we all have relationships.
Yes, and the connectedness of how all of that comes about. Because when you think of systems, that's marriage and family therapy. We are trained to think systematically. And so I feel like it all flows into the things that I like because everything connects. So where you live and those people around you, that
shape you.
Right. Where you work, the industry in which you work comes with certain occupational stresses.
Yes.
You need assistance there. You know, where you play, how you socialize, you know, these things are all important. And so being able to come into my establishment, whatever concern you have, whether you're an individual, whether you're a couple or you're a family, or you're an individual who's having difficulties at work and don't know how to deal.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of people, I know when people say relationships, they always think with someone else, but they always forget there's also the relationship itself.
Oh yes. And that's another thing that individual clients, I feel like, needs to understand what's that relationship with themselves, and that will help to also allow them to see the other aspects of their life that they can.
Love that.
I'm so
happy you're here because I'm recently, because I love how you said the physical, the nutrition. So recently, just to share a little about myself, I'm stepping into that world, right? So I turned 35, and then by 36, my body was like, "Oh no, girl, we're shutting down."
No,
and
getting started,
right? But my body was kind of like, "You always focus on relationships outside of us," and then my body had to give me a little quick moment of shutting down for me to realize, oh, I need to have that relationship with myself, right? So I got my therapist, a black one, hello. I got my therapist, and then I was like, oh, don't forget the nutrition, because I yo-yo a lot with my weight. I've always been that way, but now I reached the point where I'm like, no, we need to sustain the weight, not just when we want to go to a party or a vacation. Let's sustain it. So I love that you're doing this, so other people can maybe get that help before the body shut down.
Yes. But sometimes what is the triggering piece for people is either a loss in the family or maybe a breakup in a relationship, maybe a failed attempt at a career, or, you know, we never know what junction in life people come to where they just, oh, I can't take it no more. Change has to come.
Yeah.
And we don't, you know, when we think about motivational interviewing, it's like, where do you see someone's readiness for change? And everyone is different.
How do you see it? Because, you know, how do you know when somebody comes to you, they're ready? Is it the fact that they showed up that means they're ready? But how do you know, like, oh, you're ready for this?
That's a good question, because it arises differently for different people. And when I see it, it's either the spark, that passion that you hear in their tone, or you hear some of the action steps that they have already taken, or the research that they've done in order to make it something that is palatable, and maybe something that's, okay, I'm going to try it out and talk to my friends about it and see what they say and see if I'm not crazy. You know, so people feel like they want to change in different parts of their life. But when I see it, is usually the way that they talk about the thing that they're trying to change, or maybe the disgust they have with themselves because they feel like they can do it but just have not done it. And so when we talk about, well, what can we do to kind of get you jump started, I think that is key, to have people work on that, because then when you can stay there for a little while, it solidifies your why, and it allows people to feel confident moving forward. So even though, you go forward with the idea of change, but then when you get out there, you're like, oh, I don't even know what this look like. I'm out of my comfort zone, and people may want to stop, but why stop there? Have someone that you can talk to about it, have a therapist, but don't stop. So I like to see when people feel that, because I feel it, and that makes me want to help you more.
Oh, you know what's so funny? I love you said that. I've never thought about, because they always say it's okay to shop around for your therapist, right? So I've had a few therapists in my lifetime, and no offense to them, prior to this one, they were all white, and I always felt like they didn't understand what I was trying to say, whether it's a cultural difference. I'm Caribbean, so they didn't understand certain family dynamics I was trying to explain to them. But I never thought that a therapist is also looking at, is the relationship I have with you good?
Oh yes, 100%. And that's a part of our scope of practice. We have to be honest with ourselves to say, is this relationship working? Because if there's no productivity or we see no progress, you may need to refer that client to someone else that may have a better fit, a better relationship. Not to say that the skill set is not there. It just may not be a good chemistry. And you want someone that can feel like they trust you, and they hold your advice in regard.
Yeah.
For my therapist, she's Jamaican. Culturally, I needed someone that is in my world, and if they can't understand certain dynamics within, my culture, I might interpretation with them and may not keep that relationship. And so I was very intentional with the
this time around. I was too. I remember when I was looking for, and it's earlier you said some people come to therapy after a loss or something. It's when you said it clicked for me. There was a death in my family, and I didn't even realize that's actually when I went. And I wanted to go back to therapy. I didn't even realize until you just said it. So it's very true. It wasn't just my body shutting down. I think it was the death, and I was like, oh, I need to change something. And I remember when I went looking for her, I was very specific. I said I wanted a Black woman. She had to either have been from the Caribbean or treated people from the Caribbean before. So when I say certain dynamics that I have with my mom, she doesn't look at me like I'm crazy, right? I was like, I wanted to do, and I remember the very first session I had with her, she showed up just like you were in your interview today with her head wrap. And I was like, okay, that's it. She's the one. Like, she showed up with her head wrap, and then another time she showed up, she had a wig on. The next time she had braids. I was like, okay, I see me in you. So when I say certain things, it was like, I remember one time we were having conversation, and I said, girl. I said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She goes, nah, it's okay, girl. And I was like, yes. And I love that. So that's beautiful. So I'm so glad you said that. And I also love the fact that you said you have a therapist. A lot of people don't realize that their therapist may also have a therapist.
Oh yes. I feel, well, when I was in grad school, my professor, she always tells us, if you're going to go out in the field of helping people, you got to understand you're not going to come out unscathed. So get that for yourself in which you're giving to others. And so I pride myself in making sure that I take care of myself, because it's like the mechanic that doesn't take care of their own car. I don't want to be that person. So I practice what I preach. Maybe I can't do it every single day. Like I couldn't go and do a 5K this morning because it rained.
And you have to be here for this episode?
Well, I'm just joking. It's not a 5K. It's like a 2.3 something. But by the end, I feel very empowered and energized to continue on my day and feel like I did something for myself. And so, I try, but what makes me passionate is to be able to keep doing for myself, but then also have experiences with other people to see what I'm doing and understand how my vision of trying to take care of myself wants to transfer to the community.
Got it. So we're going to wrap up soon, but I have two very important questions that I want to ask you. What is because I know therapy is for everyone, but we're focusing on minorities, people look like you and I, Black people. What would be your advice to people who are watching this episode and maybe debating whether or not they should go to therapy, or better yet, come to your type of therapy? what would you give them as an advice? How do they find their way to you?
Well, you could always go to comfortcirclemft.com and book a session. We have other clinicians in the practice. I'm not currently seeing clients, not to say that I won't in the future, but because I'm moving towards a holistic practice, I want to focus on the programming. And so if you're looking for mental health services, we have clinicians ready and waiting, whether you're an individual, you're a couple, you're a family, or you're friends. We see roommates, we
No
see
way.
friends, we see.
Rosemary,
Yes,
don't blame
I'm
me.
not lying. I've had clients that were roommates and they were not getting along with
I would
each
have just
other
moved out. Why am I gonna see that?
because they were friends before.
Got it.
And you know what's so funny? The roommate was like, "Isn't it stupid that we're coming?" Why is this stupid? This is a relationship that you care for and you want to work through it. So how do we do that?
10 minutes ago, and here I am going, "Why do you see it?" It's a relationship.
It is.
You want to save the relationship.
Yes,
Got
yes,
it. I love that.
yeah.
And my second one is I've always wanted to ask a therapist this, so I'm just going to ask, especially since you're family therapy. Have you ever had a couple who showed up to you and you were like, Lord, why don't they just break up?
Yes, but I can't say that. I can't say that because for me, I feel it, which is kind of really create like big. I don't know what's the right word to say. It'll come back. It'll come to me soon. But I just feel like with some couples, when I see them in their worst, it makes me like, ooh, this is great. What can we do? It's like a field of experimentation. But then also when I'm hearing the patterns of what's the actual issue and we get to the root of that, then people start to be like, oh, so this is why such and such is happening while we're always arguing. We don't ever listen to each other because I'm talking over this person. Right. And so once we level set and put things into perspective, people start to not feel like that mountain. That molehill is a mountain.
Got it. So, but what happens even if they come to the realization the mountain is a molehill, but they still shouldn't be together? Like, how do you tell them, like, come on, bro, can't we just separate amicably? Like, how do you say
Well, I can't tell people that they should not be together. That's one. That's just I wouldn't do it. I mean, if there's other people that do that, more power to them. I feel like it's unethical to do it because you're telling someone what they should do when we're not living that life from day one to where we are. So there's certain things that you may not tell me that right. And I'm just not going to make that decision for you because I feel like if you came to me for help, I'm helping you process, I'm helping you navigate, I'm helping you to emotionally regulate yourself so that way you can be emotionally intelligent and clear when you're having a conversation with someone else to say, hey, this is the conclusion I've come to. I don't think it's working, but since we're here, this is me now. Since we're here, I understand that this is not going to work for you. How do we now navigate through this new phase? Because now you just went from couple to uncouple. So I can also help you with that too. And I've helped people mediate and divorce.
Love that. Well, I thank you so much for seeing me. It's a beautiful Saturday. You opened your office so we can come in. So thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I look forward to coming back once the next phase, the holistic phase, is
up
and running so we can discuss that.
Yes, and you know, we got some things to tell. I want to collaborate too.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, for those, tell the people what you got planned. Might as well tell
Yes.
them right now.
So Conscious Heights Integrative Wellness. I have to get used to that. Okay, so we're going to launch as a YouTube platform for the community to be able to have access to resources on all things wellness, mental health, physical fitness, and nutrition wellness. So I'm going to be inviting wellness entrepreneurs, content creators, whether you do physical fitness in your living room, hot yoga with a pig, I don't care. If you want your content to be spread to the community where you know people are going to look at it, enjoy it, spread the word, and share, you would want to put your content on Conscious Heights Integrative Wellness platform.
Best of luck with that anyway.
Thank you.
And hopefully in 2 to 3 years we can go back to the whole fish farming thing because I really want to see that come to fruition.
Me too. And I was so passionate about it. And maybe there will be an opportunity to do that again. But right now, I want to focus on building out the other pieces because I want to evaluate whether this would be something that I can bring to a physical space, or I'm going to try to partner with other entities and try to bring my vision to their space.
All right, well, thank you so much, Rosemary. It was so nice meeting you.
Thank you, friends. Bye, friends.
Yeah, that's the key.